Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Hi, Saurabh.
Uh, Hello. Uh, Good evening to
Good
you.
evening. Yes, to you too. Thank you for joining in. How are you doing, Saurabh?
All good, all good. Excited to be here. How are you doing?
Sorry, that's my echo. Just a moment. Yes, sorry about that. That was, we're live streaming this on other channels as well. So that was echoing over there. All right. Great to have you here, Saurabh. A warm welcome to you. And
Likewise.
a very warm welcome to everyone who's joined us here and all our viewers across the other channels. YouTube is the main one that we are looking at. We have, as we speak, there are people pouring in. So we will allow that to happen for a few more seconds. Welcome, everyone joining in from different parts of India and outside, if you're here. And yeah, let us know in the chat which city you're coming in from. Welcome, Amber. Welcome, Arun, Chaitanya, Rahul, Pooja, Robin, Satvik, Vishal. A very warm welcome to everyone. Yes, we have people from Kolkata, Hyderabad, Bengaluru, for sure. Yes, welcome, Nayan. Welcome, Chanika. Yes, very nice to have all of you. And okay, let me start with introducing myself. I'm Christabel Singh. I'm Associate Director here at upGrad. And we are here to present you our new Career Launchpad series, which is going to be a series of events that we're going to have where we will have experts like Saurabh come and talk to us about their journeys, what they encountered along the way, learnings, most often garnered with a lot of pain as well, which they will come and share with you so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. So these are really about deep dives into the personal roadmap of these experts across different domains. And today it's a special session where we have Saurabh Kango here with us. And let me introduce a little bit about Saurabh before getting into a more Q&A kind of a conversation with him. Saurabh is an accomplished insights program manager at LinkedIn. He specializes in sales tooling and scaled insights. He leads a skilled data science team, overseeing complex projects, fostering cross functional partnerships. And his expertise lies in developing cutting edge tools and insights for pre and post sales processes. A very exciting space with a platform like LinkedIn. We can imagine the amount of data with billions of users there. Before LinkedIn, Saurabh honed his analytical skills as an analytical insights analyst at Airbnb, where he built text mining models and executive dashboards. Airbnb is again one of the biggest tech companies right now, startups that is dealing with a whole lot of data. His role over there involved building and maintaining metrics, dashboards, sales tools, the works, right? Saurabh's analytical prowess and collaborative approach make him instrumental in shaping platform strategies and driving data-informed decision making at these companies. So, welcome, Saurabh. We're really happy to have you here and can't wait to get started.
Thanks for that introduction. Great to be here. Great to be, sharing some learnings from my past. So all excited to answer your questions.
Yes. All right, Saurabh. So, guys, in this session, what we're going to really go over is, of course, Saurabh's unique path that led him into these tech giants, LinkedIn, Airbnb. right? We'll also, over the course of the conversation, you'll also understand what might be a roadmap for you to land a job in business analyst consulting. We'll go over some of the hidden challenges involved in switching domains, especially from non-data roles into data roles. Some of the critical mistakes that you can avoid when pivoting your career, and Saurabh is quite the master at that. And of course, a unique career acceleration path for you as a business analyst. So stay tuned, and let's get right into it. So, Saurabh, um, let's start with your background. Can you walk us through your particular career journey and how you eventually landed these gigs?
Sure. So, I was, I was forced into engineering like everyone does. So, like typical most of the people here, I did my engineering, and it was in instrumentation control. So it was not from a computer science background. And I never had a much interest in that particular domain. So I was looking out for ventures to get into a domain which can help me, better utilize my skills or better utilize my interest that I used to have. So I used to be, or I still am, is a big cricket fan. And in cricket, there was like a lot of data and numbers that were there. And every time a batsman used to come, we used to kind of analyze how much runs he would be making. So that was the initial hunch that came into picture, like, what, numbers are good, analyzing numbers is fun. And that was the, like you need a trigger to know what you could be good at and where you should be looking into the career. So that was the initial thought, starting point that, hey, what, I need to get into this role of analytics. Way back in 2014, 15, I was just graduating from my college. And at that period of time, luckily, there was only one company which was known to do data analytics works, and it was called as Mu Sigma. So the options weren't many. Analytics was not that popular that it is now. And because there was only one company, so you had to narrow down your job search only to one company. So that sometimes is a good thing, sometimes is a bad thing, because if you have options, you're kind of confused. But if you don't have the options, you know that this is only
Very
one way to
clear.
do it. So I kind of spent a good amount of time, talking to people who were working in that company, trying to take their guidance about how do I prepare in case I were to get into that. So, talking to different employees, ex-employees, current employees, just to get the overview about the work as well as the skill set required. I started preparing my journey for that particular company way before a year or so. So when I was doing my MBA in a local college in Pune, and at that period of time, I was fully focused on just getting into one company, which was Mu Sigma. With the preparation and the hard work and the guidance that people provided, luckily I was able to break through into this particular company. And trust me, I never had any coding skill. I was doing an MBA and I did my graduation. So graduation was also in, in instrumentation controls, which is not known for coding. So getting into this company was a bit challenging because they were usually testing you on your aptitude rather than your technical skill set, because they were kind of aware that you're not from that particular background, and they were ready to take the risk of getting people from the non-tech background into this company. So that paid off, and I landed up a job at Mu Sigma. And there, my role was more of a consultant role, wherein my client was Walmart, and we were working with Walmart. And because I had done my MBA and before that I've done engineering, so I had to play a role of understanding the business requirement, and then we used to have some analysts in our team, and we used to work with them to provide the solutions. Now, in the starting phase, I was able to kind of do okay, but I was not able to really understand the technical language. And that was causing a lot of problem because they were saying something in the terms which probably I never heard or never understood. The coding languages, the analytical language was very new to me. And that is where I kind of had to, I was not required to do any coding in my initial start of the career. But then I sooner realized that, hey, you know what, if I want to really get into this particular domain, I'll have to understand the technical side of things. Just knowing the business is not going to help me a lot in the long run. And therein, I started my preparation. Of course, this company was fully focused on only analytics, so they had a lot of resources inside the companies to take the help of. And that's where in the middle of the job, in the middle of the project, I used to spend 12 hours working and 4 hours to study, because there was no other way
Wow.
around to learn all of this. So the initial 6 7 months were like a lot of hustle, and just to get foothold into this particular domain. And I think if I look back, that time that I gave extra for learning the technical skill set helped me a lot, because after that I was having much more structured conversations with the businesses. I could understand, what they're trying to do, and I could easily, convert that business requirements into technical requirements, because now I had got a skill set of also knowing what the technical side of things was. And the best thing about coding and technical part is, like, once you taste the success, once you start seeing the output, you kind of enjoy doing that more, because there's no other better feeling than getting a code right, or getting the output absolutely running fine. So that obviously encouraged a lot to go more into the coding aspects of the job. And through there, I think the career became much more interesting and amazing. So I think I was there for about 4 years, did a lot of projects in that short period of time, with Walmart in there, sourcing, procurement, supply chain. So I could
Mm.
understand how the businesses are using data for decision making, and I was able to understand how it's going to implode, or how it's going to be, automated in future. So that 4 years was very critical in terms of my learning curve. Post that, because you work with some global clients through these companies, you also make a good connect with people in US and elsewhere. So Airbnb job actually came from one of my stakeholder who I was very comfortable with working with, and he was very comfortable in sharing his requirements. So that sync
Right.
both had, and he switched to Airbnb, and then in a year's time I applied, and through his
Wow.
um,
Interesting, interesting. Sora, before we go more
uh,
into that, right, just to some of the things that you mentioned over here with your first role and how it came about. So, a couple of themes that you touched on are um, first, you had that desire to get into business analytics long before itself,
mhm.
and which is clearly seen because you intentionally went about it in your towards those years before getting that first job itself.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that and what students can do
Mhm.
getting ready for a career in business analysis and
Right.
consulting.
So, again, like, I can tell you the mistakes I made, and probably the mistakes
Mm,
you all should not make. Even in my preparation time, I was paying a lot of attentions on learning coding and technical skill set, which is required, which is the mean to answer answer any technical questions. But actually, the most important skill set that was required in the whole interview processes, or to get into these companies, was your ability to think about the problem, your ability to kind of divide that problem into small chunks, and then think about which data can be used in order to solve that particular problem. So earlier on, when I was preparing, and the mistakes that I was making was, I was putting a lot of emphasis on, say, learning SQL as a coding language, or maybe Python as a coding language. At that time, R was very popular. So these tools are important, no doubt about that. But more important is your ability to kind of understand, the business problems really well. And in order to prepare for that, you need to go through some of the books which are available. You need to understand the frameworks, and you need to intuitively start thinking about the problems that any company would be facing, even though you're not working for that. For example, if you're sitting in a Uber, you should start thinking about, what Uber has this very difficult problem of ride cancellations. From the data point of view, how can you solve it? Um,
right,
Mintra has this problem of people returning the products. What could you do in analytics so that you can, you stop the returns, or you reduce the returns. So intuitively, if you start thinking about the problems that are there in the world that you see, probably you're also facing it, or you're interacting with the company, and the company wants to help you, but somehow their processes are so complicated that they're not able to help you out. So just think about what kind of problems are these, and how can you structure and solve them. I think that played a very important role. I started doing that. It's like a mind map. Even today, after 10 years of this journey, every time I'll open the app, I'll try to map the journey and try to see, what data points are they capturing, and how can they use this particular data point to serve us better. So small hack, but it is very important that you are always in that frame of mind where you're constantly thinking about business problem solving. And specifically in consulting, in the consulting domain, the clients or the businesses that you're working with, they have a problem at hand and they are looking for solutions. And they're looking
Mm.
for a solution which needs a proper validation, and it has to be accurate. Like we cannot just give a solution which may not really work, because there's a lot banking on it. Every decision these companies make, they have $1 billion riding on it. So if they're trusting you on to make decisions which could be $1 billion worth, you have to be very, very good with, first understanding the problem, and second, breaking it down, and then third, thinking about what data points can help you solve that problem. It's very similar, like this role of business consulting and analytics is very similar to a doctor's role, I would say, wherein if you go to the doctor, he would not directly give you the medicines, or he wouldn't directly give you, okay, let's go to the operation theater and just do the operation here. The first
Mm.
thing that he tries to does is he tries to understand your problem. So he does it by first understanding you. The second, he tries to understand you more by asking you right set of questions. And the third thing that he does is he applies whatever learnings he has and then connect that questions with the learnings he has got. So in the similar way, in the business consulting, the first step is to always understand the problem, understand the industry domain, whatever interests you. So if you are in retail, read more about retail. If you're in e-commerce, try to understand more about e-commerce. So the first step is always to learn about the industry. The second step is to ask the right set of questions. That again comes with the curiosity about,
Right.
about that particular problem. And the third important thing is that you apply your learnings onto that particular problem. So this was my key learning that I really got it a little late. But if you are somebody who's getting into this particular domain, tools, yes, they are absolutely critical, but also focus equally on this approach to how to solve a problem.
Right. Thank you for that, Saurabh. And then you also touched on the theme where early in your career, right, in Mu Sigma, when you got in as data scientist, you were spending as many hours that you were spending working, and then you were spending additional hours learning the ropes. How did you balance both? And first of all, what was it that gave you that drive to go that extra mile versus perhaps colleagues who were just in the role and kind of learning on the go and without any extra effort?
Yeah. Fortunately, Mu Sigma has a very competitive culture. So
Right.
everyone is kind of competing with each other, and it's a healthy competition. It's not like
Hmm.
pull it down. So that definitely plays a part. But like I said, I knew that this is one place where I'm lacking. And if I can, it's like if you are in cricket, you are a good batsman, but if you can also ball for a few overs, that helps you be in a better cricketer in the squad. So it was the same thing. Okay, I could understand the business problem, but I could not really do anything about it unless and until I know the ways to do it on my own. If I want to analyze the data, I should be capable enough to pick up the code and write the code and do the analysis on my own. So that piece of being reliant on on a colleague to get some information, that
Right.
is the main trigger that I should really learn this really quickly. And
Hmm.
second, like I said, I was knowing like what's in it for me, right? I know that if I'm able to do this, it will definitely help me a lot in my career, and having a better conversations with these clients, which were say AVP at Walmart or SVP at Walmart. So dealing with them, it will give you more confidence in presenting your work. And that was the main drive that I used to spend about 4 to 5 hours every day learning the technology. And of course, like given that I did not had any background, it took time, and I was okay with that. But definitely it paid off a lot in the future.
Right. So, to everyone listening, some golden nuggets of wisdom which Saurabh is sharing, right? Especially early into your career, whenever you find yourself in technical roles like this, there's different ways to go about it. One is to continue with what you know and continue being dependent on different people and different roles to give you what you need at different points of delivering, right? That is one way to do it. But extremely risky. The other way to do it would be really to pull up your socks and put in that extra effort. I think this is a key thing to keep in mind. It's almost like a mindset, Saurabh, if you will, for whatever role you're in, right? You can either continue to operate like that, or you can really choose to level up and change gears and accelerate your career, right? And that'll the results that can come out of that is going to be completely something else. So we have some questions also coming up. Hardik, we hear you. We will be taking up questions in just a bit, but please feel free to continue putting in the chat whatever is coming up for you while Saurabh is going through this. Saurabh, I also wanted to touch on, okay, in the early part of your career, across those 4 years, right? You grew in the role as well to that of a managerial position within data science. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I started off as a person who was doing the hands-on work and being that bridge between the business and the technical team. And then because I used to love retail. Retail was my is still my first love. It's because it's a symphony of analytics. If you see, like for example, if you step into a
Mm.
store, specifically like an offline store, everything that you see is driven by analytics, like where that particular product is placed, which
Right.
product is placed beside that particular product,
Mm.
what should be there in the billing counter. You will find like very specific products placed in the billing counter. Why is Coca-Cola, being placed beside a fruit juice? All of these questions
Mm.
are actually answered by analytics, and the data plays a very, very important role. So as soon as you walk in any retail store, on the surface, you will see the products, but at the back end, it's all number driven. So that used to fascinate me a lot. Like how are they able to do it? And working with Walmart, which is one of the biggest companies in the world, the scale at which we used to do this problem solving and analysis for them, there was a genuine interest to learn more and read more and have conversations with people about how are they able to do it. Because okay, we sitting in India, we know only about the data, but we don't really know what's the front facing thing looks like or how does it behave. So I think that curiosity mindset about I was not stuck to one project. um, uh,
Mm.
I was trying to be like, hey, you know what, I want to do a marketing project, so I will shift to a marketing project. Then I wanted to learn about how supply chain works, so I'll move to a supply chain project. At the end, I wanted they pivoted towards e-commerce. I'm like, okay, let me learn about more about e-commerce. So this curiosity and
Right.
love for that particular role or that domain does really help. That was the key point. And because you would love doing whatever you are doing, you would want to do more and learn more and create more impact. And in any role that you are in, if you are creating impact, which is much more than anyone else in the particular role, that is the biggest driver of you getting promoted and getting rewards for it. And trust me,
Totally.
in the world of data analytics or in business consulting, every report that you send, every work that you do has a dollar value attached to it. So if you are able to
Mm.
do best in every small task that is given to you, and that is helping companies make billions of dollars of decision, it definitely pays off in terms of pay rises, in terms of promotion, etc. Because the impact is
Yes.
extremely high.
Wow. I love how you put it, Saurabh. Just go in with curiosity
Yeah,
and that love of learning, which in the first place would have led you to roles like this. Let that really play out. And what better fit than to have fun doing what you do and creating impact, and
absolutely.
especially in roles like this, which is if assisting decision making and for billions of dollars, millions of dollars, whatever, right? Within that company, within that industry, if you are helping the company make wiser decisions with data, of course your career is going to be much more easily scalable there.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
All right. So Saurabh, tell us a little bit about the next gigs. You started about that, about Airbnb,
Yeah.
but extremely interesting. So starting with the power of networking, because it was through a friend that you got to know about LinkedIn, but little bit more about that,
Yeah, so in the
about
role
Airbnb.
I was in, my one of my stakeholders was a very good friend of mine. Like he became a good friend of mine more than a client, as they say it. And I used to consult him for any career guidance as well at that period of time. So having a mentor is very important. And he
Hmm.
was exploring a gig in Airbnb, so he went there. And I think he wanted to set up a team in India. And he was like, "Are you open for a change? We are setting up a analytics team in India. So would you want to take it up?" Nothing better than that because Airbnb at that period of time was one of the very hot startups, very
Mm,
design oriented startup. It has a very good brand name. Still, it has a very good brand name.
right.
So it was a no-brainer to say yes to it, and then of course had to go through the entire process. There was first case study round was there, then second technical round was there, third business case study round was there, and finally culture fitment rounds were there. So
Oh, right.
after clearing all of this round, Airbnb happened. Very interesting thing at Airbnb was, I joined on 2nd of March and 2020, and on 15th of March, the world was under the COVID breakdown happened.
Right.
And the most affected business in any world at that period of time was the first one was the travel because the
Yeah.
travel actually stopped totally in every part of the world. So here I am, like after 4 years dedicated to retail and learning all about Walmart, and suddenly in 15 days of time,
Wow.
like wow, I'm in a company which may not even survive, given that nobody knows what's going on. The travel is closed, people can't travel. And
Mm,
I still remember, they were to send some people from US to India just to train me, and one of my friend also got selected to train us because there was nobody in India to know about analytics, and they couldn't do it because obviously the travel was shut. Um,
mm,
and the initial 3 months, it was more about every day you're waking up and you'll be like, okay, am I gonna be surviving this job or not? Because it was a difficult period of time for the company, and you could understand it that there are some external factors which they have no control over and they can't do anything about it. But that also led to like good opportunities to work upon, because every time a crisis happens, it also makes you do more. And of course, some opportunity also comes up in that period.
mm,
So I remember, like, out of curiosity, this again I can give an example how analytics plays such a crucial role in every company. So it was I was just trying to write some queries, and we saw that the sum of revenue was coming out to be zero. Now, any company can survive with, say, losses. That's fine. They can carry forward the losses, still get some funding and survive. But having a revenue equal to zero was a
Saurabh, looks like we lost you for a little bit. We'll give that a couple of seconds. Yeah, looks like we Saurabh just dropped off. He'll be joining back. But some really wonderful themes that he's touched on. Welcome back.
so sorry. There was a power cut and
No worry, no worries, no worries.
yeah.
Yes,
So
sir. So you
yeah,
were telling us about the things with Airbnb and getting started and all the challenges there.
yeah. So at that period of time, like we were running the codes and we kind of cross-checked our codes that how is it possible that the revenue is zero.
Zero.
But the revenue was zero, and it was like, okay, we should either pack our bags and look for a jobs outside, or just pray to God that something changes and things becomes better. And in that period of time, they had to kind of lay off a lot of people from US. So again, like a lot of work started coming into our plate. But that
Mm,
also meant that this is what problem solving I was talking about. Our company has a problem. There's some external factors that they can't control, but there are certain trends that probably I felt at that time that if we are able to catch the trends about the
Mm.
future, maybe not today, they're not really prepared for this, but what about the future, say 7 months down the line or 6 months down the line? So out of this curiosity, the first question that struck me was, okay, people can't travel, but we were seeing a lot of traffic on Airbnb as a website. So this was the curiosity mindset that I was talking about. Okay, nobody can travel, and I don't think Airbnb has some entertainment factor in that, that people will just go there for entertainment.
Yeah.
If people are coming to website, there is some intention and they're really looking to do something on the platform, and that's why they're visiting.
Mm.
Nobody gave us this particular project, nobody asked us to do anything, but this is the curiosity thing that you need to build in. Like, why are these people coming onto the website? Can we identify certain patterns? And when we started analyzing the website data, it is called as the clickstream data. Very amazing patterns we could see. The first thing that was there was everyone was searching for about 28 days of stay, more than 28 days of stay, which used
Mm.
to happen in Airbnb. It was used to be around 3 days average. Second trend that we observed was people were using kitchen as a filter because at that period of time, there was a lot of uncertainty about the restaurants being open or not. Never ever it used to happen that people would intentionally select kitchen to be there. But now we were seeing a pattern where people were actually looking at the kitchen as a place in their property. And the third most important thing was that the location of the search of the people was around 100 to 200 kilometers radius. So if you are in Mumbai, you would
Mm.
probably think about Alibag as a place. If you are in Pune, probably you will think about Lonavala as a place. If you are in Sydney, you were thinking about Blue Mountains as a place, which was in a drivable distance. So this was the trend that just we were able to find it out using simple data analysis, and it was very important because if you compare it against the competition that Airbnb has, they are traditional hotels. So you cannot stay for 28 days. It's not practically possible to spend so much money for 28 days in a hotel. So Airbnb had an advantage here. All these hotels do not have their personal kitchens, so they have a centralized kitchen. So none of
Mm.
places have their personal kitchens. And the third thing was for a hotel to build a property in a 200-kilometer radius of a city, it will take them forever. They'll have to get the approvals,
Mm.
they'll have to create a plan and etc. and come up with the properties. But for Airbnb, it was just that any property which is in that location, they need to
Yeah.
bring it on board. So
Mm.
this was like super competitive advantage
Wow.
that we
Right.
identified. And in terms of solution, it was not that, hey, you know what, this is a trend that we have observed and this is what is going on. When we provided the solution that, so we started doing some web scraping, we started getting data from Google and everywhere so that we can give them the ready-made, hey, you know what, these are 20 properties which are available to be listed. And all you need to do is just talk to them and onboard these properties on Airbnb. And that is how they were able to actually come up with a campaign called as Go Near. So in June, they released a whole TV advertisement where a family is staying outside the city in a beautiful place where they are showing a kitchen, and
Wow.
they went through a drive. So they had to convey this message that you can't fly, but you can still drive. So through the drive,
Right.
you went there, you are spending a time with your dog and the family, and you can cook your own food and you can start working from Airbnb. So that became a cult trend after that, that people instead of working from home, they used to, this trend that started, they were just, working from Airbnb. And that is how they were able to kind of survive this storm. And in the month of November, I guess they started with their IPO thing as well. So again,
Mm.
a small example about, how simple data analysis, using data for knowing the patterns can play such a very important role in any organization. And just with this simple project, we were able to kind of help company in their decision making.
Wow. That's an amazing story, Saurabh. And really leaning into curiosity, the ability to take initiatives, the courage to take initiatives, to put your voice out there, to make suggestions where you are, and of course, have the skills to pull that off.
Mhm.
So, love that. You can't fly, but you can still drive.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Yeah. So, diving into the, tell us a little bit about LinkedIn. and what got you there, and um, what advice would you, what insider strategies can you share with our curious learners today?
Yeah, so after Airbnb, I was looking for a role which is more, aligned to what I really wanted to do. So, LinkedIn as a company is enabling a lot of people to get jobs, and their
Mm,
mission statement is really amazing that we need to create economic opportunities for most of the people in the world. And
mm,
when this opportunity came, I was more than happy because knowing what's in India, 140 crore people and so many expectation, I probably was like very sure about what I want to go here, create an impact, see if I can even increase 0.01% of jobs in India. That can help a lot of people in our country.
mm,
So that was the main reason to switch during that period of time. And luckily, I got into the sales analytics domain. So now what
mm,
happens is like the world is data driven. Now you cannot make any decisions without data. And talent is something which is the most critical component for every organization. So Amazon is Amazon because of its employees. Google is enabled to innovate because of the talent they hire. And most of the companies win on talent. So in this sales analytics role, the role is more around, let's say, I can just give you an example. For example, Spotify wants to set up a center in India. Now, if they want to set up a center in India, they just can't be like, okay, I'll set up in XYZ location. They have to do like a lot of data analysis. They have to think about what they need, what kind of profiles they would be needing. Is that profile available in that particular region? What kind of salary pays we should be giving, because they have to also take care of the cost constraint. So this is where I help all of these companies. So they would come up with a requirement that we want to set up a center, and these are the roles that we are looking for. So could you suggest whether it's what could be the best location, where should we exactly be setting it up, and we would of all the information that you all share on LinkedIn, all your skill set information that you share on LinkedIn. So we analyze this bulk of data and then come up with a very customized report for all of these companies. And that enables them to make quicker decisions about where should they be setting up their centers in across the world, not just in India. So that's the main role that I'm playing here. So we deal with a lot of CHROs. If you remember in 2021, it is called as the year of great reshuffle. Like many jobs were
mm.
there. People were
Yeah,
kind of thing. Now, at that period of time, because the talent was not very easily available in that locality, we had to come up with narratives which helped companies make a decision whether they can hire it from a broad location, like not from that particular country. So, for example, at that period of time, a lot of Facebook hiring used to happen in London for London, but from India. Like a lot of talent from India moved to London because the opportunities were such high that they were not able to fulfill it in that local regions. So they had to kind of look into other region, and that which region they should be targeting and what kind of talent that they can get, which match the skill set that is required in that particular country. So that was another important problem statement that we kind of worked upon. So
right.
in this, just even in the hiring space, which is of interest to most of you, data has become very important. No companies are making any decision even without doing any analysis on top of it. Your resume is a data point that they're collecting. Your applications that they're asking, it's a data point they're collecting. And there is a huge
Yes.
amount of data analysis that goes into just identifying the right candidate to have an interview also. So you need
Mm.
to be prepared. You need to have the key skill set that they're looking for in order to be, getting shortlisted for their roles. So yeah,
Yes,
it's a
yes.
very interesting role here as well.
Right. So that brings us nicely to the next question that I wanted to ask you, which is about data tools.
Mhm.
And in today's world, with data tools along with Gen AI and all of the AI automation and generative AI kicking in, it's constantly evolving and at a much more rapid pace than before. What are some of the must-know cutting-edge tools that aspiring business analysts should definitely master?
Yeah, so it all starts with where the data is located. All your data which the companies capture. So if you go to Instagram and you're scrolling on Instagram, that information gets captured and stored in a location called as a database. So first thing that you
Mm,
need to learn very thoroughly is this coding language of SQL, because database only understands one coding language, which is SQL.
Mm.
Um, the first thing that if I were to relearn everything again, the first thing that I would have done it is learned SQL very, very thoroughly. I would have been like advanced to master level in SQL, because that's the starting point for any analysis. If you don't have the data, you can't
Great tip
analyze.
there.
Yeah.
Mm.
The first and the most important skill set to learn is your SQL as a coding language.
Right.
Second, once you get the data, you need to analyze it. If it's a small data, even knowing Excel is more than enough. But I don't think so. In today's world, we are dealing with small amount of data because we are dealing with some large amount of data. Knowing a scripting language like Python is extremely important. SQL helps you getting the data out of the database, but it does not help you analyze it. Python is the only language that helps you analyze it. So today, if you go to any role, every company has kind of standardized it to Python. Earlier used to be like different tools, but now if you know Python, you are okay to apply to 80 to 90% of the companies in this particular role.
Oh,
So
wow.
the second important tool to learn is, of course, Python. And
Mm.
third, most important, because you cannot share this codes with the technical business owners. They'll never understand what you're writing in the business in those Python notebooks. So you need to ensure that you need to learn your visualizations toolkit. So maybe if you learn
Right.
Tab or Power BI, either of it, that can help you present your information much better to the larger audience. So these are the technical skill set I would have gone, like SQL, good amount of Excel, or and good amount of Python, and any of the one visualization tool. So this is, I think, more than sufficient in order to get a good job in the market.
Right. And in your particular case, with what order did you go in?
Oh, I started with the visualization part first, because that was my
Oh.
work, and I
Mm.
SQL, and also then I started learning SQL, and then finally
Right.
the Python. But I think the right order is SQL, Python, Excel, and then
Data
your,
visualization.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Great tip there for everyone listening and looking to break into this. Um, Saurabh, can you, we also have a large part of our audience is professionals who are people already in this stream, but maybe from non-data roles. What
Hmm.
are some of the hidden challenges that people face while transitioning from one domain into a domain like data analytics and data science?
Correct. So see, the best part about analytics is it's uh, not like a civil engineering, which is totally different. It is something that you're doing every day. For example, if I ask all the people here that they have to purchase a phone, say under 30,000 rupees, you will end up doing a lot of data analysis. You will compare the prices, you will compare the features, you will compare the offers, warranties, guarantees, etc., etc. So in a way, in your day-to-day life, you're using a lot of data, just that you're not doing it on a tool or a spreadsheet, but you are
Right.
doing that analysis. You are
Mm.
doing the comparison. So the best thing about analytics and consulting is that it is something that you're doing already in your work. If you are, say, building a project, you are already using some data. If you're doing some work related to your work, again, you are using some bit of data. Maybe you're not using the tools, but you are definitely using the data. So that's the first part, that whatever you are learning in your current role is gonna be of a great help. So keep that learnings that you have got in your current roles intact. And all you need to learn is how do you apply data for doing or making decisions. So that's the main skill set that you need to learn. And the biggest challenge that even I faced was learning all the technical skill set. But thanks to advancement in the contents that you see nowadays, and especially through upGrad, if you see it, they have given a clear structure and clear path about what you need to learn, how you need to learn. So you don't need to worry about collecting which videos to see, which content to see, what is important, what is not important. So enrolling into any of the courses can definitely help you a lot, because it will take away all your headache about where to start and what should be
Yes.
the next step. So definitely, a strong suggestion would be to enroll into a course and make sure that you are following the path that they have given, because it is usually designed by industry experts, by keeping into mind about what is in demand, how it is required, where it is required. So you will see more practical application compared to any other platform. So do ensure that you learn it in the right way, There's a plenty of things that needs to be there. So just make sure that you're learning the most important part of the learning. And the third part is like, don't fear about the technical part. That's the
Mm,
fear that you will have, that, you know what, I'm not from a coding background. How can I do it? Trust me, at the start, from the outside, it seems difficult. But once you start doing it, that feeling is totally different. And just remember that, you know, the person who is from a coding background would have been from a non-coding background for the first time when he learned coding, right? Maybe it could
mm,
be 12 standard, maybe in his first year of engineering, maybe in his post-graduation, he would have learned coding. But whenever he started, the first time he started, he was not knowing coding, right? So keep this in mind. If you were to learn coding, you don't need to keep this stigma in your head that you're not from a coding background, because everyone can learn anything, and with all the guidance that is available, it is much more easier compared to what it was in, say, last 8 years ago. So definitely be open to learning new technologies, and you know, be confident about the need of this particular role. It is very, very important role. And best thing about this role is that it is across industries and across domains. That means
right.
you're a civil engineer, you will be only into some civil related companies, but you are in data analytics.
Mm,
I was in travel, I'm in tech, I was in retail. So that switch you can make very easily. And within the companies also, you can make a switch. So you could be in finance, marketing, operations. So this role is something that gives you opportunity everywhere in the world, in any company that you wish to go into. So rewards is a lot. Hard work is required. And that fear of not knowing coding and not being worried about coding is also something that you need to plan for. Once you get these three things correct, I think you're set to make a good career in analytics.
right. So for all of you who are there looking to make a transition, you have the roadmap ahead of you, right? Don't be scared about the technical bits, about the coding bits. Don't be hesitant to get your hands dirty in that. There are ways to do it. And today you are facing a problem of too much information, right? Information everywhere. So many free courses. YouTube is full of them too. But where do you start is the thing. And that's where what Saurabh has mentioned, starting with a structured approach with a trusted certification program will give you that upper hand that would be definitely helpful for you. So we have some questions coming in here, Saurabh, which we can start taking in just a bit. Chaitanya, Ambar, Arun, Hardik, Chainika, we have all of your questions and each of them will be answered. But just in the spirit of what Saurabh mentioned, I think let's also give you a glimpse of what we have in store for you at upGrad. Team, if we can have that page put up over here. Yes. This is the professional certificate program in business analytics consulting, and this is in association with PwC. So, not something that you see very often, an integration like this, and a certification that you'll get through not only upgrad but also from PwC, with people from PwC coming and teaching you. So, Saurabh, would you want to say a few words about this approach?
Yeah, I mean, PwC is one of the big fours. If you know, they have clients from every every domain, and I'm pretty sure the content that they would have created and the mental learning sessions that they will be providing will be really practical and hands-on. So, pretty sure, like, I wish this kind of course existed some
Yeah,
years. I would have been the first one to take it up. So definitely, I would say go for it. Very rarely we see that the industry is coming and helping in course creation, delivery, and
right.
knowledge sharing. So again, and that too, a big name like PwC is pretty amazing.
Yes. And team, if we can just go to the top once more, you have actually a special offer that is being done as well, which you can see. And for a very limited time, this is a cohort that is starting today, but of course, you have a few days to kind get in before things start kicking in. So we'll also have a poll that we'll have out here where you can also leave your interest, and our team will get back to you on that. We'll just have that poll launched now while we continue to talk about this structured approach which Saurabh is talking about. Yeah, you can see all of these projects as well with the data sets, Saurabh.
Right. Yeah, like I said, the biggest skill set learning that you need to do is the problem solving. And you can only solve the problem once you have the real problems, real case studies to solve for it. So this Practo is one of the leading services in India around healthcare. Task 24
Right.
is having a very high market share. Jupiter is one of the very good upcoming financial services banks. So definitely, if you have this on your resumes and you are not from this particular domain, this will definitely help you a lot in your job search.
Right. So, Saurabh, while our participants go through that, let's start taking some of these questions as well. So, one is from Chaitanya. He's
I
asking,
can
is there?
see the questions. So I'll
Yeah.
try to see
Okay.
them.
Yeah.
Books, I would say there was this person called as Philip Kotler, and he's still the best out there. So do make sure that you search about this person. I'll put it in the chat. Just read
Yes.
anything about him. I'm sure yeah, everyone in the industry knows him. So any books from him definitely helps a lot in work related to
Yeah.
problem, right?
Yeah. Certainly.
Uh,
So, Saurabh, just for the benefit of those who are coming in from other channels, right? We'll just read out the question. So, you are suggesting some of the best books related to to building problem solving skills here,
right. Okay.
right? Hmm.
I'm taking this question on the mathematical skills. So what about
Right.
the mathematical skills, which are very, very necessary? So mathematical skills, of course, you are dealing with data. Data is numbers. Numbers needs maths. So definitely it is required. But please remember, we don't have to do the maths that we were taught in the school. Like we don't have to prove a theorem, or we don't have to say, LHS is equal to RHS. We don't have to do that kind of a maths.
Hmm.
Whatever maths that we have to learn, it's more about the application. So where do you use averages? Where do you use medians? In which situation, which kind of statistics will be required? That is what you have to learn, and you don't need to learn the formulas because the coding languages like Python or Excel has already modules or packages around it. So all you need to know is in a particular problem statement what kind of statistical equation or statistics is required, and you just need to apply it. So don't worry that you don't know. There's always this underconfidence about mathematics because the way we are taught is not the best. I would say because we are more focusing on proving something, but it's more application oriented. So of course it is required, but it's not that's something that you can't learn. Anyone can learn because you just need to learn the application part of it. Right. Um, how much time does it take to master the tools like SQL, Python, visualization tools for beginners? See, that is very generalized question to know. It depends on whether you're working, you're not working, whether you are whether you are having more free time compared to the other people. So we need to know that as well. I think this course is for how many months, if I'm not wrong?
This is, I think, a 6 month course. This is a
Yeah,
6 month program.
yeah.
Can
So
you
if
show
you
us certification, please? Yeah. Another key highlight over here is the mentorship. This would be with industry.
very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess if you dedicatedly give 6 months, and if you're doing it through a structured approach, I think 6 months is fairly good. And if you look at the course, it is in line with what I was saying. First, learn Excel. Knowing problem solving is very important. That's what differentiates you between all the people out there. Then the Python and your SQL. So if you're learning all of this, is more than sufficient, I would say, and should be good for you to get a good job in the market. So 6 months for all the tools that we
Yeah.
are talking.
6 months of hand holding, 6 months of live sessions, 6 months of a community which you
Mhm.
can lean on and really grow with the energy of the community as well. So all of that what are the other questions, Saurabh, that you want to
Yeah.
take up over here?
So
Is MBA degree?
there's a question on freshers. So
Mhm.
probably like to answer that. So
Right.
I want to know a fresher can get into this role and what courses and certifications is needed. So the answer is literally on your screens. See, as a
Yeah.
fresher, you remember that they are looking for application. Like, have you done something which gives them a confidence that you know that particular skill? For example, let's say you are an interior designer and you want to get into some role. What do you do first? You try to create your portfolio where you would have done some work and you try to showcase that work. That's an antidote to not having any experience. Now, in this course, what we are doing, if you scroll up, there are case studies which are real world, which has a real problem, and it has been vetted and delivered by those company itself. So that's the problem that they were having. They have given us the data. They have given us the problem statement. Now, what you need to do is you need to analyze it on your own. You need to solve it on your own, and then create a portfolio out of it. Create the portfolio in the sense, create a work out of it, and then put it on your resume, and then go and apply for any companies in the world. Because now you have the proof of work that you have done, the skill set that you have learned in practical. That increases the chance drastically in order to get a job outside. And with the certification that we were seeing, if that particular project is also given a certification from that company itself, it adds more trust and value to the skill set that you have got. So definitely go ahead with the course that you're seeing on the screen. Just check out the link that is there. And I think this is tailor-made for people who are definitely looking for jobs in analytics and are not having that enough experience to get one. I can't hear you.
Sorry, Chaitanya is asking, is an MBA degree a must to get into this domain?
Not really, but again, like if you are being taught from PwC and they are like the consultings, they are the powerhouse of consulting. So instead of spending 2 years to get a MBA degree, if your objective is to just go into business consulting, so I guess this course is more than enough for you to kind of think it in a short term. Maybe in the long term, if you want to, you can think about doing a MBA, but I would still suggest that this course has all the flavors that you need, like a proper projects, proper brand, which is delivering and executing it, and the certification. So I would have gone with this one.
Yes, Saurabh. Saurabh, it's been wonderful speaking to you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey with us. I think there's a lot of learning for our learners, anyone who's looking to get into this industry, even people from particular domain looking to transition into a domain like business analytics and consulting. Um, so many of the things that you talked about, right? Be curious, get into your current, whatever is on your table with curiosity, embrace the challenges, and really there are opportunities hidden within that, like you demonstrated at your role both at Mu Sigma as well as in Airbnb and now in LinkedIn. Hone that love of learning with what you're doing and step up and take initiatives, right? And you also use the term symphony of analytics, which is kind of stuck with me. That's a beautiful one. And also you spoke about the power of mentorship, which led you
Right.
finally into Airbnb.
Yes.
And yeah, that's a big one for all our learners, right? From and also a rigorous interview process with couples of rounds of case study and business case study, and then even a culture fitment. And I really loved what you shared about that voluntary project that you took up at Airbnb with that campaign of you can't fly but you can still drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much. A lot packed into this short time, and certainly this is not a one-off conversation. We look forward to having you back, and we have some good feedback also that has come in with people sharing what more they would want us to dive into. So definitely we will circle back on that and build on that in the coming series. And thank you to everyone who has joined us, Hardik. Um, Chaitanya, Amber, Arun, thank you so much. You all have been an amazing audience. Thank you again, Saurabh. Have
Thank
a
you.
good evening.
You
Have
too.
a good evening, everyone. Bye.